Hey friend, welcome to Healthy with Heather Brown. If you don't know where to start with balancing being healthy and loving the life you already have, I got you, friend. And yes, of course, we're still going to enjoy some Chick-fil-A. I'm here to come alongside you and encourage you to fall more in love with your creator, your spouse, your kids, and your own health journey. We'll talk about how to let your good things grow until they become daily habits, with the occasional dad joke and point of view from my Yankee hubby, Eric. Don't stress. Let's hop on this Hot Mess Express together. So join me, Heather Brown, as we unpack what it looks like to live a life well loved. OMG, y'all, we literally connected with Jess about recording about 4 days before we got in front of this camera and mic. And luckily, she is such a jewel and she was willing to jump in and help me. If you have been around My Life Well Loved or Healthy with Heather Brown for long, you probably have seen Jessica pop up in my feed or in my stories. We love to collaborate. She is one of the people that I feel like I can really trust in the space. She's come to Birmingham and visited with me, and I've been to Atlanta and hung out with her. She has kids in similar ages and phases of life. So not only is she a dear friend, but she's also a personal trainer, an influencer coach, and the blogger behind Happily Hughes. So I'm so pumped to get to welcome her on today. And I really want you guys to almost like deep dive with me and Jess on the Lazy Mom's Guide to Postpartum Health, Fitness, Wellness. And so I really hope that you leave and walk away from this conversation highly encouraged and just feeling like you know tangible takeaways to do from a personal trainer and from your little cheerleader, Heather Brown. And we are here to make sure that you guys feel good about it. So with all that said, welcome to the show, Jess. Woohoo!
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Jess is the best. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit more about your kids, their ages, how awesome they are, all the things.
I'd love to. So I'm a mom to two, Hudson and Henley. Hudson is almost 10. And if no one warns you of this ahead of time, I'm telling y'all now, hormones start early. Okay. It starts at 9.5. Just be ready. Just be ready. And then
are you serious?
I'm not kidding you. No one told me, and it's here.
Before the double digits, huh?
I can't do it. Ugh.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You got it.
Yeah. And then I have a sweet angel, Henley, who's 7. She's a sassy little spitfire, just like her mama. And then I have a golden doodle named Georgia.
Georgia is a hoot. Whenever you show her on stories, I'm like, she just looks like the most cuddliest love muffin.
She just lays on me. Like she just is on top of me nonstop. She's a sweetheart. She's a good one.
Okay. So Jess, when people hear the term personal trainer, I feel like you typically think like, oh, like a trainer in the gym, but you typically take it more online. Will you tell us a little bit about how long have you been a personal trainer and what led you down that path?
So I had my son. He was born with a heart condition, and I was in a sales job at the time, and to hire a nurse to stay home with him, it would have been my entire salary. So I decided to quit that job, stay home with him. I started becoming an influencer completely on accident. And his heart condition really scared me to be healthy. I was like, I have to be around to love on and take care of this child. Like, I really need to take care of myself. So I studied and became an ACE certified personal trainer. And that was 9.5 years ago. That is crazy.
Almost a decade.
A decade. So I've been in the training space for almost a decade. I don't do as much online now as I used to, but I still post weekly workouts because I love inspiring women to work out in a way that makes them feel good. Like that is just my joy. So I do still personal train on that level. I don't do it as much online because there's not enough time in the day. You know how it is.
There's really not. You're so right. So Jess, one of the things that I feel like when I'm talking with women, a roadblock that they have as moms is they feel guilty for stepping away and working out. And I feel like there's so much to say and speak into that. And I try to day in and day out, but I feel like it would just be refreshing to hear from a personal trainer, somebody that has been a mom with a child going through a heart condition, who has been through divorce. You've had all these things in your life where you have literally like been knocked down and you have come back up stronger. And I'm just so proud of you. But do you mind speaking into what it looks like for mamas to not feel guilty when they work out and how that's almost like shaped you a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. So I had the mom guilt too, especially with my son being sick. But my mom was like, Jess, you have to take care of yourself because if you don't take care of you, you're not going to be a good mom to that sweet baby. And she was 1,000,000% right. And this started when he was a baby. I would take 30 to 45 minutes a day. I would turn my phone over and just focus on exercising for myself. I don't care if the laundry's done. I don't care if the dishes are done. The bills can be paid later. Like I have to have those 30 to 45 minutes for my mental health. And every woman should know that you are not taking away from your kids by taking that time. You are pouring into your kids by taking that time, because you are a more present mother. You're a better businesswoman. You are better on every single level if you take just that little bit of time for yourself every single day. It is so important.
Yes, it really is. I actually was just like, I've been going through so much through just learning about the mind body connection and what that looks like. And a lot of times I feel like, especially Christian women in the Bible Belt will be like, well, but isn't that just selfish to be like working on how I look? And I'm like, no. It is so much less about how you look and so much more about your mental health and your spiritual health, your capacity to be able to not pour from an empty cup. And the Bible literally says to love your neighbor as yourself. You have to love yourself to be able to like help your neighbor out. It's like on the airplane when they say like, when the, airbags drop, like you have to put it on yourself before you can help others. So I really think of exercise for me. It's almost like this catalyst that helps me like put on my airbag and my breathing and everything pertinent for the day to then be able to effectively help my babies and my family.
Absolutely. I mean, I get so cranky if I don't get a workout. Like, we're talking earlier, but I fell down the stairs and fractured my rib. So I'm not allowed to do my normal weightlifting, and I can feel myself getting edgy. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go for a nice walk. Like, do what you can every single day to just take that time, because it really does. It just changes your outlook on everything. It makes you a better, happier, nicer person.
Amen. So let's kind of just set the stage a little bit here for the Lazy Mom's Guide to Postpartum Workouts. Let's say you had a baby a few months ago. You're feeling healed enough to start doing normal life. Like, I know I had a 4th-degree tear, so I literally couldn't walk past the mailbox for 6 weeks, and it about broke me. I've done a podcast episode on that before, so I'll share that. But, women are starting to think like, okay, I'm going to start moving my body again. The baby's up at night, so you're sleep deprived. Maybe you're struggling with hormones, confidence with a changing body, and the last thing you want to do is move your body. However, I've been talking with my pelvic floor specialist about how we are always postpartum. And I feel like that to me was like this light bulb moment of like, oh, right. Like literally my body, she was like, Heather, some people's organs literally don't go back in place. Like where God first put them in your body, like they are out of place. And so things don't work right. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. You had a 7 and 4-year-old. It doesn't matter if you had a 20-year-old. Your body is still postpartum from here until kingdom come, because like, that's just the miracle is designed that way, first of all,
Yeah, that's crazy. I never thought of it that way, but you are always postpartum because your body will never go back to the way it was before. It's always different body afterwards. And you just have to learn to love and take care of your new postpartum body. But it is a postpartum body forever. I never thought of that.
I haven't either. It's been rocking my world so much with everything I've been reading and learning recently, honestly.
That's crazy. I'm going to dive into that too. That's really neat.
Yeah, it really is. So what I've been like kind of uncovering and unpacking is like, we have to learn to care for our bodies from a whole health perspective, and realizing like, I did have this trauma that was birth. God designed my body to do it, but there's still things that I'm gonna have to account for and almost like work harder in to make sure that I do stay healthy, mind, body, and spirit when I'm working out for my babies. So then my next thing would be, Jess, knowing all those things, what's the number one thing you would say to encourage a postpartum mama, whether she's like, you know what, my youngest baby's 5 years old, but I just like, I lost it. I'm overweight. I don't know how to eat. I feel stuck. Or whether she just had a baby 6 weeks ago, what would be like your best encouragement to her?
So we all know postpartum, regardless of the stage you're in, is tough. Like no matter how many people warn you of how your body's going to change, how your hormones change, all that, you're not prepared for it. So it's
or if you're in Jess's stage, or your kids' hormones are changing, apparently.
Oh my goodness.
At 9.5, y'all, 9.5.
It's the whole thing. But I think my biggest takeaway for that would be, again, to make sure you get that 30 to 45 minutes every single day for yourself. It's all about mental health. You and I have talked about this a lot on other things, but I suffer from extreme anxiety, like have my entire life. And I have to exercise every single day to help with my anxiety. I have to exercise every single day to have my mind right, to be able to do my job, to be able to love my kids. So moms, I know it's hard. I know it's hard. I know we have so many things that we have to do, but you don't have to do them all today. You don't have to. If the laundry isn't done, the kids are going to live. If you have to order pizza, oh, well, take the 30 to 45 minutes so you are a healthier, happier person. You just have to do it.
Yes, absolutely. So Jess, when you say things like that and they're like, okay, but I've never exercised, like I'm hearing now that strength training is so important as you get older. Where do you recommend they start?
Ooh, that's a tough one because it depends on I mean, their entire background. Like, did they play sports in high school? Have they exercised before? How long has it been since they've exercised? So a big thing is finding, this is a big one, people who know what they're doing when it comes to exercise and following them on social media. So like Heather, you were a coach for a long time.
Yeah, I taught Pure Barre for almost a decade. I loved it. It was fabulous.
So like, I always feel very comfortable sending people to Heather's page. Like when she posts workouts, she knows what she's doing. She's got great form. I'm a certified personal trainer. So go find trainers that are posting workouts that you feel comfortable doing. Don't jump in and try and pick up a 45-pound dumbbell. Start slow, 5-pound weights, and just do a couple days of weightlifting a week. And that's all you need to do. And slowly build it up until you feel stronger.
Actually, now that you're saying this, Jess has an amazing, like her videographer and photographer, Chelsea. I've met with her before. She's so fun and funny, but she's also wicked talented, like incredibly talented. So the workout videos that Jess and Chelsea produce together are incredible. So I'll make sure and link all your workout videos and your YouTube channel and all the things so people can find you. And like you said, you do weekly reels, but I think that my biggest thing I always tell people is if you don't know where to start and you're like, I can't run a mile. Okay, well then walk a mile. Okay, yes. You can't walk a mile, walk half a mile. Okay, you can't do half a mile. Like just start so small. And if Jess recommends, like you see her doing, you know, these like, she's holding 20-pound dumbbells and she's doing her bicep curls. Like she said, grab the 5s. We all started there. Like I literally started with 2 and 3 pound weights in Pure Barre and it'll still kill me because it's just such different movements. But like truly, like you said, Jess, maybe could you share some of your favorite fitness accounts to follow for your inspo?
I mean, yours is one of them, obviously.
Oh, thanks, babe. Thanks.
There's this, what's her name? Oh, Nicole Monroe. I will link her. She's amazing. Okay. And then Whitney Simmons. Everyone go follow her. She is hilarious. And she does workouts that everyone can do. She'll do beginner workouts. She'll do harder workouts. So the harder workouts I like to watch to like motivate me because she does stuff I can't do. But the easier beginner workouts are perfect for everyone. Go follow Whitney Simmons, TikTok, Instagram, 10 out of 10, highly recommend.
Okay, we'll definitely link her. And then Jess, will you talk a little bit about, so I've been talking about how much I've been deep diving all this stuff. What does the mind muscle connection even mean when working out to you? So a lot of times like at Pure Barre, that's one of the like basic tenets. It's like you have to learn about the mind body connection, but can you kind of explain that in different terms than what I'm used to explaining it to for beginners?
Absolutely. So from a personal trainer perspective, your brain always needs to be engaged and connected to the muscles that you're using to ensure that you're using proper form. So if you'll watch some videos where you'll see girls who are weightlifting and their partner is actually grabbing their butt. And it's not in a sexual way at all. It's to have them connect their mind to their butt. They feel that touch. So they'll be focusing on those muscles. So that mind-gut-body connection is making sure that you are focused, you are fully in your body, focusing on those muscles in your form and moving in an intuitive way to keep your body safe.
That's good.
So like every morning I do stomach vacuuming. It's very important for especially postpartum women, but that is a huge mind-body connection because that means that I am engaging my core all day long. My posture is better. My neck doesn't hurt. My back doesn't hurt. And when I'm working out, my form's great.
Okay, Jess, you were the first person to introduce me to stomach vacuuming, and I've started to integrate it into my routine, and I really love it. So I feel like when I talk about it, though, and people that haven't done bar or Pilates or yoga before, they're like, I'm sorry, what? Like, it's hard to get at first. And I'm going to link some of Jess's videos and mine that I've done now on stomach vacuuming. But will you explain to people, number one, why is it important for postpartum mamas? Will you touch a little bit on DR? And almost like, what can that do for women?
Yes. So postpartum, y'all will notice, and your doctor will check your 6th week. There's something called diastasis recti, which is the separation of your abdominal muscles. And side note, women are so hard on themselves postpartum. I just need y'all to remember that your stomach muscles ripped apart to grow that child. So please give yourself grace. Okay. They ripped apart. So at your 6-week checkup, they're going to check how far apart your ab muscles have separated. Mine was almost 4 finger widths apart. 4.
You're kidding.
No, it was bad.
My gosh.
Hudson was a big baby, okay? That he was almost 22 inches and he was like huge.
All up in there.
When I started doing my personal training certification, they talked about stomach vacuuming and healing that separation. And I was like, why is this not talked about more? Like, this is so important for women around the world.
Yes.
So I started doing stomach vacuuming after him. After I had him, I would lay down and do it. And that will help bring your stomach muscles back together. It will help them heal. It's so important. So when you're doing abs, you're just working your normal ab muscles. When you're doing stomach vacuuming, you're actually working your transversus, which is underneath your ab muscles. And that helps engage your core all day long. So you're walking, you're squatting, you're picking things up. Your core is engaged, your posture is correct. So it's helping your entire body stay in line and keep your form correct. But then also it's helping that mom pooch get back together.
Are you freaking out that it's back to school season like me? My gosh, it always comes with so many things that it feels like a part-time job. Not to mention, you have to figure out a lunch plan. If you're on a budget and you really want to think through how to send your kids with lunch that's not just PB&J, I got you, girl. I have painstakingly figured out a system that works to get a healthy, nutritious, budget-conscious lunchbox packed for your kids every single day of the school year. And don't worry, we didn't forget breakfast or dinner either, along with tips from our feeding therapist for how to get even the pickiest eaters to try new things. I've got a list of ingredients, special love notes to put in your kids' lunch boxes, ways to involve your kids, recipe ideas, and everything you need to get an A+ on lunch packing. Head to www.mylifeoflove.com/ebook to grab yours now and use code podcast to get 15% off. Will you talk a little bit for people that are like, stomach vacuuming, what the heck is that? Can you explain how to do it, reps? Like, what does that look like?
Yes. So what I do every morning, this is really important for my morning routine because it just gets me in the right mindset. So I do my morning meditation/prayers and I lay in bed. So you lay in bed, you bring your feet up close to your butt and your knees are bent. You're going to suck your belly button down to your spine and hold it there as long as possible. People ask me all the time, how do you breathe? Just slow, shallow breaths, but try and keep that core as tight as possible. So you're going to hold it as long as you can, and you're going to do that 3 times. And you're going to build up. So you're going to do that 3 times for about a month. Then let's move to 4 times for the next month, then 5 times. But try to do it at least every other day for an entire month. And I promise everyone that has started doing stomach vacuuming has seen a huge difference. Huge.
I did. You can't see me. I'm raising my hand, but I have. It's insane.
It's nuts. Like, I'm mad that women aren't told this at their 6-week postpartum checkup. Why are they not talking about this? Like, you literally just need to lay down on the floor for about 3 minutes a day, and it's going to change your whole life. It's nuts.
That, and why don't they tell us the words grace? Why don't they tell us move your body? I remember them being like, you're not going to be cleared to walk around the block until 6 weeks, which normally we'd tell women to get moving. But I'm like, but telling someone to get moving who has no concept of exercise, or they didn't need to work out before, or they didn't need it for their mind, like, I feel like that's a really big shortcoming in our medical system. And I just like, oh my gosh, it blows my mind. It makes me so upset. As someone that Jess struggled with anxiety, I struggled with PPD. Like, the fact that we don't have those tools out there for women and their tool belts blows my mind.
100%. I mean, when I had Henley, I asked them that. I was like, why don't y'all tell people to stomach vacuum and exercise afterwards? Because postpartum depression is, I mean, just going up. Like, people have it worse and worse each year. And I'm like, y'all aren't helping though. Like, you're not telling them things to do to help them.
Right. And it's simple things. Like, Jess, will you talk a little bit about your routine? I loved how you mentioned that earlier. And I actually, do you follow Blake from the Crappy Christian podcast?
Yes.
Okay. Which I'm like, I so identify with her. But she just did an episode recently where she was like, Christians, y'all need to quit letting the world take the word meditation from you. Like, that was in the Bible eons ago. Y'all are trying to act like it's like new agey and weird. She was like, it's not. Meditation can literally mean meditating on God's word. Like, he designed it. Quit letting the world take it from you.
Exactly. I mean, that is in the Bible. I see meditation and prayer as very similar to each other. So as moms, again, you know, I'm big on having that time to yourself. So I wake up before my kids wake up. I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning. Woo! They're up at 6. But again, I know that this helps me be a better mom just in general. So I wake up at 5. I lay in bed. I do my stomach vacuuming and I do my meditation/prayer. I spend about 10 minutes doing that. Then I journal. Then I get up, get my coffee, and start working until the kids get up. I do it every single morning, Monday through Friday. I've got a schedule and it sets my day off in such a good way. Like, it just really does. I wake up most times in a good mood, ready to take on the day.
And I think that habits and routines like that are so powerful. Like, people think that it has to be this big production, but I'm like, you're talking about stomach vacuuming, I think you said for 3 minutes, praying and journaling for 10. It's not like, if you don't have an hour, okay, then again, like, micro steps are like huge. Habits make such a difference.
Just little things. And you know what a big thing is though, is people have to be dedicated to sticking to their schedule, which I think is hard.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's hard. We all struggle with it, but
especially in the summer.
Oh my God, summertime.
Hard.
Help us all. Cause I'm like, oh, one kid's got camp over here and one kid's got camp over here. And we have to get up at this time. And then we've got swim. Like, I get it. But again, my kids keep on schedule during the summer too. I'm that mom.
Yeah. I mean, it's okay. We're in like all the VBSs and the swim camps and the golf camps and the soccer. I mean, and it's fun. Well, actually, I want to talk with you next about this, Jess. So You've talked some about like how then you get up and you start working. Jess and I actually did a course together for bloggers and people that want to be content creators. So I'll have you share a little bit about that next. But I think it is so fascinating how with what we get to do, it's like we get to set our schedule. So like, while yes, some weeks I work 40, 50, 60 hours a week because that's small business. But also I get to say like on Fridays, I'm not working and I'm going to be with my kids. Or like if there is a class party, like I'm going to be there. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not working. Don't book me during that hour or whatever it is. So will you talk a little bit about what it looks like for you finding that balance and also share about our course too?
Yes, absolutely. So it's hard to find that balance, I think, still to this day, because you never know with this job when it's going to be busy, when it's not. Like right now it's ramping back up again, but you have to take that time off. Like I don't like to work Fridays either. Friday at noon, I cut it off. If an email comes in after that, you'll get an answer Monday morning. So Friday afternoon until Sunday night, I'm not even looking at my email. That is my time off. In the morning, I do my journaling and everything before I get my emails, because if I hopped right into my emails in the morning, I would not be in a good mood. That would not be fun. So you have to set a schedule and set aside time for yourself. I mean, it is beautiful that we have that ability. Like we're so lucky. We're so lucky to be able to do that. And we have to be able to put a foot down for ourselves to say, I am not working after this time because I'm going to spend time with my kids. I'm going to take 4 days off because I'm taking my kids on a trip. Like that's just, you have to do it. We did do an influencer boot camp that was very robust, and it's got 5 other influencers in there that have all been doing it for at least 5 years each. So if you want to become an influencer, I've had several girls take it and they have all increased how much they're getting paid per month. Like it's really, really cool. So if you guys want to do that, we'll have that linked just so you'll know it's pretty fantastic. I'm very proud of it.
Yes. So we'll definitely link it. And Jess, I can't remember, were there any like freebies or anything that I can put down there for them that went into
there's some
it?
freebies on there too. Awesome. And then we also have social media that we're doing for businesses. That's been really fun. So I'll have that linked as well. I've got some videos of that.
Awesome. Okay, good. I can't wait to check that out. So we talked some about that. And then obviously like you got to nourish these people. So you've talked about how, you know, if you have to order pizza some nights just to get your hour to yourself or your 30 minutes to yourself, okay. But day to day, how does nutrition play into working out for moms? Mm-hmm. I know obviously eating enough protein, drinking enough water, for instance, especially if mama's pumping or nursing. If you could even just give us like 3 to 5 down and dirty tips for postpartum mamas who tell me all the time they want to lose weight, but they don't know where to start. What are those like down and dirty tips for them?
So one of my girlfriends does this for all of our friends that have babies, and I love it. She makes them a basket that they can carry around the house with the baby. Oh, it's genius. Cute. And she has water bottles in there. She has 3 water bottles. She has protein bars, unsalted almonds, and then some crackers for them. And so every single postpartum mama gets that. And they've all said this has been the best thing ever because it's got a handle. They can just carry it when they need it, but they're always hydrated. They always have food. So I think that basket is the best thing ever.
I love that. I'm going to steal that idea.
It's not an expensive gift, but oh my goodness, talk about if we had that when we were breastfeeding, it would have changed my life.
Yes. And you need more calories, mama, when you're breastfeeding, and you need a lot of carbs. So
yeah, just eat, baby. Just eat.
Yes.
Just eat. I would eat so much. I would drink peanut butter. Anyways.
I know. I ate like truckloads. And when you got up for that like 12 or 1 a.m. feeding, I remember just like emptying the pantry, just like hungry.
I'm like, where's the frozen pizza? Let's go. Now, keeping healthy snacks on hand. So I have snacks in my car, in my purse, and then obviously in the house, because for me, I eat the 5 small meals a day. So making sure you have healthy protein-packed snacks is so important.
So you know what small packs. Yes.
Small packs is those Built bars.
I love them.
They're so good. They are so good. So have some Built bars. Like I have snacks in my office drawer. Like have them anywhere that you can reach them. It's better for you. Just make sure you're eating, because a lot of women do this. They don't eat until dinner, and then they eat like 2,000 calories at dinner because they're starving.
Yes.
Eat small meals throughout the day is huge.
Yes.
And then when you are newly postpartum, I had a huge problem with this, but y'all ask your friends and family who are coming over to see the baby to bring you healthy snacks, healthy meals, stuff that's going to help you. Asking for help is huge during that time. And if people can bring you healthy frozen meals that you can eat for dinner, or even like some nice muffins or anything that you can stay, energized and on track, that's huge. So ask for help, ask people to bring you food.
Yes. And they want to. I mean, the thing is, people are going to ask you, like, what can I bring you? What can I do? Can I bring you a meal? But I think even just I know it's so uncomfortable sometimes in Southern culture, but even if somebody says, can I make you a meal train or whatever, where you sign up on there, if you even said, do you mind just adding on there to say, if possible, please bring a healthy option, or if possible, please bring something with protein in it. So even if it is a casserole, at least you're balancing your blood sugar with not just like carbs and empty stuff, but you're also getting that protein to help balance you out. I think that's huge.
Absolutely. Those meal trains are a lifesaver. But our last girlfriend that had a baby, she had on there, like, please, protein packed and as much greens as possible.
Oh,
absolutely. Easy peasy. Let's do it.
Yes, for sure. And I'm like, actually, you're helping them, because then they just got to buy you a bag salad and a rotisserie chicken and call it a day.
Exactly. Here you go. Love you. Bye.
Exactly. Okay. So Jess, one of the things that I talk about a lot, especially in my team building course that I worked on with you for solopreneurs, is the power of asking for help, which is what we're talking about now for moms. So what are some ways you practice asking for help and support in your life, especially as it relates to balancing your career as a content creator, momming, and then also your many entrepreneurial hats?
Again, I think it's really hard for us to ask for help. Like, that's been a huge hurdle for me, but the more you learn to do it, the easier your life will be.
Yeah.
So in my job, I have a whole social media team. If I'm struggling with something, like, y'all, I cannot get these reels to take off. What do we need to do? I will go talk to my team. Y'all need to help me. How do we make this work? So knowing that I have a team that I can go to and ask for help is huge. And I do. I can say to them, or I need someone to take over my emails this week. I'm drowning. Okay, they will. If you have to pay extra, oh well. But if you have someone helping you out, it is always worth it. Always. 100%. Amen. I was a single mom for a long time. I'm in a relationship now, but I was a single mom. It was really tough being able to ask other mom friends to help. Can you pick up my kids? I have too much work to do. Can you take the kids for a play date? Can you meet me at the park and we let the kids run around because they're driving me crazy? So being able to ask your mom friends for help like that, I think, is huge.
Hi, friend. Are you enjoying this episode? Hit that plus sign in the top right of your Apple Podcast app, or the follow button in your Spotify app, or wherever you're listening. That way you automatically get each new episode without having to search for it. You're welcome. Do you mind sharing a little bit about when you initially were going through your divorce and like the conversations that you and I had, why you came to Birmingham, kind of like how we talked through things? Because I think that so often too, moms, like, we meet best friends in college or high school, we move away and they live in a different city. What made you reach out to me and then us to get together? And how did that help you? And like, then how would you encourage other moms to reach out to their friends, even if they live in different cities? Because that community is just so vital.
It's so important. So, I mean, y'all listen to Heather for a reason. You know, her soul is so genuine. And I was really struggling, not just with my divorce and how hard that was. I was having problems with my friend groups. And my job was struggling really, really badly. So my agency dropped me because I was getting divorced and I didn't have any money coming in. I was freaking out. I had to pay for a lawyer, my house, my bills. I was like, ugh. So I reached out to Heather because I'm like, Heather, I am struggling. Like, it's so slow. I need to get money back in here. How do I do it? So I went to Birmingham for a weekend and like Heather just poured into me. She just helped me get invigorated for the job again. She helped me come up with all these great ideas.
And we wined, we dined, we had a blast.
And we worked out.
Yeah.
But I mean, she helped me rebuild and like get excited about working again because I wanted to just throw in the towel and go corporate. I was like, I can't do it all. And Heather was like, yes, you can. Let's figure it out. And we did. And doing that was so good for me. My mental health, my business thrived after that because she helped me figure out how to be happy in doing this job. Like, you need to really hold on to those friendships and ask those friends for help when you need it.
And I will say, Jess is one of those friends that, unfortunately, because she doesn't live in the same city as me, we don't get to see each other as often. But I know when I'm struggling in my business, like, I will text Jess. I mean, I have done this multiple times. Hey, I'm really struggling to hit some of my goals this month. Like, can we help each other out here? What can we do? I'm stuck, like you said, with like my reels, or I don't know what to do with TikTok. But being willing to have somebody that's just like in what you do with you, whether that be momming, whether that be like your type of business, whether it be someone early in their marriage or that's gone through divorce, like, it doesn't matter how far apart you guys are. You have to be willing to get uncomfortable and like get deep with someone, because community is vital. Like, Jess, you have been such like a joy for me to have in my life when I'm struggling. I'm so thankful that you're willing to have that type of friendship with me, because the world is going to tell you as we go further and community is enough. It's not. Sometimes like Jess just needed to get to Birmingham, or I just needed to get to Atlanta, or I just need to be able to reach out and say like, I am struggling. I need your help. I need your prayer. I need your whatever. Mm-hmm. So let me just encourage you, if nothing else today, if you're struggling, you have to reach out to somebody, get help. Like we all are moms. We all are human. We all have our struggles. But if you're not willing to get vulnerable with a few people, how can anybody help you? And then
Absolutely.
You feel isolated and alone. And it's just a really bad place to be.
Oh, such a good message. I absolutely love that.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Okay,
of course.
Jess, final question, and then I'll let you go.
Okay.
What is your favorite thing in your health journey that's making you feel like yourself right now? And it can be anything, mind, body, spirit, health.
I've been in therapy for a long time. I love my therapist. And she was like, why don't you do gratitude journaling every morning after you do your morning meditation? And I'm like, yes. And you know, all I do is write down 3 things I'm grateful for. That's it.
I love that. That's what I was going to ask you next.
That's it. And what a great way to start the day. Like, how can you be in a bad mood? You just wrote down 3 things you're thankful for. And it was easy to come up with those 3 things. Like that part of my routine really sets me up in just a really positive way.
And think about like what Jess was saying earlier. If she opened up her emails first and was like, now I'm stressed about this deadline and this brand wants this, versus starting with gratitude. And then she's setting up her whole day for success. I love that.
Exactly. Yep. So
awesome.
That's it.
Well, Jess, where can people find you online? How can they connect with you? Anything else you want to tell them about Happily Hughes?
It's Happily Hughes on everything: YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok. I've got a blog with an interactive map. If you like to travel, we've got a lot of travel content on there, but there's an interactive map you can click around. I'm on every channel as Happily Hughes, except for Twitter. I'm not on Twitter.
I have an old account. I'm like, I don't know. It's still active, but I'm like, last time I tweeted was probably like 3 years ago. It's fine.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, 5. I'm not. We're not doing it.
Okay. Well, Jess, I will link up all your resources for everybody to find. Thank you so much for coming on, friend. I love you.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, you guys, will do me and Jess a favor. If you will go on Instagram and if you will screenshot this episode, post it on your stories, tag at Happily Hughes and at Healthy with Heather Brown. Let us know one thing you took away from this episode. And also, we would love to hear if you reach out to a friend or if you need to reach out to us and ask for anything. We would love to just send you a little encouragement today. So I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, and I'll see you next week. If y'all think I'm a little crazy, just wait till my favorite guest joins me in the Marriage Corner. It's my hubby, Eric. Welcome back to the Marriage Corner, you guys. We're recording on a morning, which is very unusual for us now. And I've got my iced coffee in hand, trying to make my brain start working.
So this is much better for me, being the morning person in our relationship, whereas obviously you're typically the night owl.
So true.
So I'm feeling pretty good. I don't have my pre-workout in yet, so we'll see how this goes.
So Eric, what time did you fall asleep on the couch? What are we watching? I feel like people would find that interesting.
Over under around 8:45. I think people can make their own assessments whether it was under or over 8:45.
To be fair,
Probably
though,
take the under.
To be fair, though, Eric had to work essentially like full, I think it was 2.5 day shifts. And I think, was it 2 night shifts back to back to back? So you got a lot of catching up to do.
3 night shifts.
Yeah.
In a row.
In a row. A lot. And like we've talked about before, he actually took both boys to school for me this morning, which was very, very kind. So thank you. Rockstar.
We're on the run. We're on the run. All right. So speaking of being on the run, question for the Marriage Corner today, and you actually kind of brought this one up and with a specific example, but the question for today is, what is something that women care about that men don't necessarily care about as much? And then I think kind of you can say vice versa, what is something that men care about that women don't necessarily care as much about? So
yeah, for sure. So I actually had this whole thought process come up because I saw a funny reel on Instagram. Did I send it to you?
Well, that was going to be one of my examples. It is true. So you can describe it, but it is something that I definitely feel like women care about more than men care about.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So
and it's a very surface level thing.
It is. This is just silly. But there was a reel where a girl comes home and shows her husband her nails, and she's just got them done. And he literally like flips out, drops to his knees, runs out the door, and is like telling everyone on the street that he can see, like, oh my gosh, my wife got her nails done. Like, they look so amazing, like screaming it from the housetop or rooftops. And I just was like, yes, because you spend so much time going to the nail place. You like painstakingly pick your color. It like is on your, nails for the next 2 to 3 weeks. You want it to look good for your husband, for your trips, for your date nights.
So let me ask you this, because I do agree with that assessment. I do appreciate when your nails look good, but it's not something that's just like obvious that has been done. But what is it about you getting your nails done? I know you mentioned that you think that I will like it, but obviously the joke behind that Instagram is that obviously men don't care as
Right.
much about it. So is it that you actually think that men do care about your nails, or is there like something else? Women put more emphasis on, I guess, getting their nails done.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that, like, for me, I'm like, I just spent an hour and a half probably in there. So it's a large chunk of my time. I want it to look nice, and I want you to think that it looks nice. So then when you're like, you don't even notice, I'm like, oh man, we just spent like $75 on this and an hour of my time, and nobody noticed.
But I guess what I'm trying to get at is, if you know that men don't care as much about it, then why are you putting so much of an emphasis on it?
Probably because other women care.
But why do other women care?
Like, I'm not exaggerating. Like, the girl, when she's taking my pictures or whatever for the vlog, she'll be like, honey, your nails look ratchet. You got to get those done. Like, we can't even take pictures until those are done.
Okay. But usually you're not getting up close pictures of your nails. I don't think.
Well, in my job, I am.
maybe I'm completely wrong. And obviously, I'm not your target audience.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe the listeners can tell us, like, oh, yeah, I definitely look at Heather's nails. I don't see the payoff for the amount of time and what you maybe think the emphasis is behind getting your nails done.
Well, I don't think I've ever told you this before, but it's literally written in brand contracts. Nails must be done, painted, and kempt before shooting. Like, some brands, when I sign the contract, like, it says your nails have to be done.
Well, that is definitely one of the things that I think women place more importance on than men, for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. Okay, go ahead, Eric. What's yours?
So this is kind of along the same lines. I think kind of along the same lines as nails is facials. And you're like, oh, look, I got my facial done. Look at my skin. And I feel like this is making me like sound like a bad person because I'm not observant. But sometimes you come out and you just had the facial done, and it's like, whoa, like you got a facial peel, a chemical burn, all these different things. And it's like your face is melting off, basically. And I don't know how to react sometimes. But I do think that is another thing. Now, obviously, I think there is more of an emphasis on physical, I guess, attributes for women than men just in general. I think that's kind of where we're going with this thought process.
Yeah. Well, and I will say, no woman is getting the facial done in general if it's a chemical peel or something. Shout out to the Aesthetic Loft. She's my girl here in Birmingham. But nobody's getting it thinking that's going to look good immediately. It's like, oh, I kind of want to hide my face because it's going to be peeling and red and, all the things if you get something done that's a, chemical peel, obviously. But your hope is that the long-term effects of your skin, it looks better and, all those things. So, yeah. My next one is going to be, and it's in the same vein, which is like, gosh, I'm really making us sound shallow here, but would be hair. Like, if I get my hair done and Eric doesn't notice, I'm like, oh man, I'm really bummed out that he didn't notice that my hair is done. And
so I actually did have that on my list as something that I actually do appreciate, because when you do get your extensions or your hair done, I do think it looks great. And I feel like I do a fairly good job of recognizing that most of the time as well, too. So that is definitely one thing that I do appreciate and I do try to recognize.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for that. I do feel like you do that as well.
So another thing, and this is a little bit more, it's kind of might be a season 3 type topic we've teased about, doing sexual health and things of that nature. So what is something that women care about that men maybe don't necessarily care about as much? And I would say just in general, now this isn't for every man, and don't get me wrong, I do like this as well too. Do you know where I'm going with this?
No idea.
So lingerie. All right. So I do think that is sometimes women put more of an emphasis on that than men. And don't get me wrong, very sexy. I do like it. Definitely like when it's a surprise. It's like, whoa, yeah.
Game on.
I like that. But also too, I think most men would probably agree with me that just seeing their wife naked is almost just as sexy, if not more sexy.
I don't know about that. I'm very intrigued to see what our listeners say about this from their husbands.
So I don't know. I'm just saying, like I said, it's not for everybody, but I think most men would probably agree. Now, yes, I just said lingerie, very sexy, lovely surprise. But you know what? I think your body is sexy too. Sometimes I just want to see that.
Oh gosh. So really you think it's almost too much fanfare, whereas you'd rather just...
Not necessarily fanfare. I just think it's one of those things that women put more importance on than men, because sometimes it can be more expensive and, you know.
And you have your lingerie shower before you get married.
You have your lingerie shower. There's this whole emphasis on it. And like I said, this isn't like something that men don't appreciate. It's just something that we think that women put more of an importance or emphasis on than men do.
Yes, and I'm definitely going to link back to the Lindsay Mastis first part of her episode, because she talks a lot about this with her husband and how he was raised in the church, and where like you almost should fear sex, and like sometimes the church doesn't do the best job talking about it. And so when she came out in lingerie, he almost felt like it was dirty to see her in that, and he had to get over that mental hurdle, which I think is kind of a crazy phenomenon that happens from the church with sex in general.
I disagree. The dirtier, the better.
Oh, gosh. Well, on that note, before it goes downhill, maybe we should wrap it up.
Tasteful yet dirty is kind of where I stand on this situation.
Oh, yeah. One of our friends, I thought this was hilarious, said to his wife, I really like your new dress, but it's like just enough classy, but also trashy.
Classy, but trashy. I do like that a little bit. So did you come up with anything that you think that men put more of an emphasis on than women, you know, switching it around?
No, I did not understand the assignment. I thought you were only bringing things that for men, and I was only bringing things for women.
All right. Well, maybe we can save that for another marriage corner where you can put it back on me, and you can say things that men think they put more of an emphasis on that maybe isn't as important to women.
Well, it's 100% sports, so I'm going to think about that.
Yes, I would agree. I guess I was thinking more along lines of similar things. I mean, it is completely different with men and women. So that is accurate to say that, yeah, men put more of an emphasis on sports, following sports.
Stats, your time, who's winning, and like all the things. Don't get me wrong. I love Auburn football and I love, you know, hockey games and stuff, but I like the like atmosphere of it. Whereas Eric or other guys, I feel like would be like, quit talking. We're trying to understand or hear the game.
That is probably number one. That was a sitter, if you will, or it's easy home run for you. But maybe we can talk more about that later in another marriage corner.
Okay, awesome. Anything else you want to add, babe?
I think that's it. So I do think it is interesting. And it's one of those things we go back to talking about expectations and a lot of these things that maybe women put more of an importance or emphasis on than men do. It goes back to expectations, whether it's men or women have these expectations in their mind. And then when they're not met, sometimes that can lead to friction or disagreements. But the more communication, the more honesty, and that tends to iron those things out and gets you on the same page. And those are good conversations to have.
Absolutely. Well, Eric, I forgot to tell you this, but one of my Instagram friends, Melanie, that has been following me on the blog for forever, she said that she has started sweating every time that you come on the show or there's the marriage corner. And she told me, now, I used to listen to you guys at work, but now I've realized I can't because it's going to get a little spicy sometimes.
I take that as the highest compliment. That is where I'm trying to take this podcast. So,
he's going rogue.
Just wait for season 3.
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, with all that said, you guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please click that follow button. We would love to have you guys get our episodes sent straight to you each week. And then also, you know what? Y'all go over and follow at Healthy with Heather Brown on Instagram. That's where I typically show Eric the most DMs from. So if y'all have a message for Eric, shoot me a DM and I can copy and paste them to him if he's at work or read them to him at night. I always think that's so fun. Okay, y'all have a great day. See you next time. Hey, if you're loving the show, click that follow button on your podcast app. This will ensure you won't miss a single episode. I'll see you next time.